Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back with another 1,000 pound best friends review. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button now because some of you all may not like what I have to say in this video, but I'm always going to be open and honest about my opinion. Ooh, Vanessa, how do I say this? I am all for Vanessa's weight loss. I've been rooting for her from day one. She is still my favorite. But in this episode, seeing the way the last few minutes of it panned out and the way that Vanessa and Megan spoke to each other, I can see why they had a falling out. I can see why Megan makes certain comments about her being a drill sergeant and things of that nature, because the last part of this episode, Vanessa was very much so giving off hypocrite to me. But we'll get into it. So the episode begins where it left off with Scott on the scale trying to figure out whether or not he lost the pounds that he was supposed to. So he says he was 596 and we look at the scale and we see 556.8. So he has lost 40 pounds. I'm gonna be honest with you all. I was surprised. All that string cheese and stuff that they showed us as a way to make us think he wasn't gonna do it had me wondering, but I'm starting to feel like they might have filmed that thing out of sequence because he did get the job done. I do think he would have lost more though had he had really adhered to the guidelines, but it's done. So he's so excited to the point where he's crying in his own little way and he's hugging Dr. Proctor and he's just really excited to get in the room to tell his mom. So Dr. Proctor tells him, I want you to remember this feeling that you have right now because no one else can want this for you. No one else can do this for you. This is something that you definitely have to do for yourself. You have to want it. You have to keep the momentum going. Don't stop. You're approved for the surgery. He's excited. His mom is excited. His mom wants to make sure that Dr. Proctor has never lost anyone on the surgical table, and he says that he's never lost anyone on the table. So Scott says that with this and him being approved, he finally feels like the last conversation with his father is happening for him, and he's able to honor the promise that he had made to his dad, which is that he would lose weight and be happy. He's like, he doesn't have to hope that he's proud anymore. He knows that his father is proud of him now. So we see Megan and Ashley talk about this upcoming trip that they're going to have. Megan says that today's not a good day for her because she's battling with her hemorrhoids. They're both nervous about it, but they are happy that they're going to be able to go. Ashley's like, I just hope that we can go here, keep peace, and not get into an argument, because every time we go on a trip, we get into an argument, and we see the flashbacks of that happening. So it's the next day. They head to the mountains with Scott driving. He tells us that he can't eat any food. He's on a liquid diet. Now, I thought liquid diet meant that you only could do liquid. But this version of the liquid diet is liquid with one meal. So his intentions are to let them know that he got approved for surgery, but he's going to wait until they cook dinner. So he said one of the reasons why he wants to wait is because he doesn't want them to police him after he tells them. If you really didn't want them to police you, then you shouldn't have told them at all. But you told them, so now they're going to police you. So Vanessa tells Tina that, I'm happy you're out the house. And Scott's like, yeah, you don't leave the house enough. She was okay with Vanessa saying it. But when Scott said it, she kind of did a look like she was shooting daggers to the back of his head. Tina don't like that man. So they arrive at the house and Scott tells them that there's rooms upstairs and downstairs. He opens the door, runs out the car, and says, I call master. He says that he needs the room because he's bigger, it's bigger bed, and he planned the trip. The ladies didn't really get that upset about it. They made little comments about him being spicy and things of that nature, and how they didn't know that he could run that fast, but it didn't become an issue. I was just waiting to see if he was going to come back to help them with their luggage. Chivalry is not dead. It's nice if you even offered help. Even if they say they can do it on their own, still offer. So Vanessa is complimented by Ashley on how good she looks. She's wearing skinny jeans, and she does look really good. Megan says she's skinny. Scott asks how much she weighs, and Vanessa hesitates to say it because she says she doesn't want anyone to feel any way about her number. And they're like, girl, just go ahead and say how much you know weight you lost. And she's smiling and she's giddy. And the lady's like, look, we know you've worked hard. How much have you lost? So she says she's now 188 pounds. That's insane. We see them all pick out their rooms, and Megan lays in the bed with her dirty shoes. I mean, like, she's laying in the bed. If this is the pillow, her feet are on the pillows with your outside shoes. I can't stand that. Y'all, when I come in the house, I take off my shoes. It is a rule in my house. I don't want you walking all over the place that you just was walking on those dirty streets, and then you walking it up on the carpet that I sometimes sit on and things of that nature and lay on. No. So they all pick out their rooms. They then all lay in Vanessa's California King, even Scott, until Scott decides to pass gas. Next scene is dinner time. The plan is for Megan, Ashley, and Tina to cook a low-carb dinner, but Scott and Vanessa end up helping out. So they're going to be doing turkey meatballs, chickpea pasta, and roasted tomato sauce, and banana no cream ice cream. So Scott dramatically announces that he's been approved for surgery. They cheer for him and give him hugs. Tina's like, have you started your liquid diet? And he's like, yeah, I started it. He said, you know, one meal has to have high protein, lots of veggies, low carbs, and low fat. He says the first couple days were hard, but the last 4 have been amazing. It's been easy. It's, you know, it hasn't been that rough. And Tina's looking at him like, yeah, right. Because I've been through this and I know it's hard. And he's like, you know, it's not that bad. And she tells us that he irritates her because he thinks he's an expert and he tries to act like everything is great when it's not. I'm not saying that he doesn't do those things, but Tina seems to be struggling more in some areas than I remember Vanessa struggling with. So maybe in certain aspects it's not hard for certain people, but this is Scott we're talking about and she ain't trying to hear it. So Ashley said that I just wanted it to be the 3 of us in the kitchen. I told them they don't have to do anything, but they're helping. So I guess they can do the meatballs. As they're prepping, we can see that Scott is very opinionated. He's trying to tell Ashley how to season what she's cooking. And he tells Megan to clean out the measuring glass. Meanwhile, I personally would want him to put gloves on his hand because he has the ground turkey and he's doing all like this in his hands. And I just wonder if he washed his hands thoroughly because he doesn't look like... He doesn't look like somebody who washes his hands. I don't know. I'm real funny about doing that. Look, at my house, when it comes to meat, I have on gloves. I do. I'm kind of mad because my son's been using gloves to eat things with because he doesn't like sauce and stuff on his hands. But I use gloves. I'm not touching meat with my bare hands. I'm just not doing it. If I do, like, trust me, I've scoured my hands before and after. Lemons are on deck. So they sit down to eat the food, and Scott's like, can I get some pasta? And Tina tells him, you can't have that on your modified diet. Pasta is high in carbs. Even though it's chickpeas, it still got carbs. She says that the reason why he's over there acting like he's not having a hard time with his liquid diet is because obviously he's not doing it right if he's eating things like pasta. So apparently the meatballs don't have a lot of seasoning because Tina's like, these are missing something. And Ashley doesn't like them and neither does Vanessa. Scott likes them and feels like they should just eat them because they took all that time preparing it. And Tina's like, I don't want to eat it. I took 3 bites and I don't want it. He thinks it's rude that they aren't eating it. And he keeps talking about how good they are. And Vanessa's like, you lying if you think those are good. Tina says, you don't got no taste if you think they're good. We had it under control. Then you controlling ways, and you wanted to come in the kitchen, and these people start arguing about some daggone meatballs. So Scott doesn't feel like it was right for Tina to say that he don't got no taste, because he says he wouldn't be 500 plus pounds if he didn't know good food. And as they're going back and forth, he tells her to F off. You're telling her she's rude, but you're telling her to F off. The both of them were rude because the both of them could have handled it differently. But Tina already don't like Scott, so she was going to go at him anyway. Next thing you know, they keep arguing. He feels like she made a dig at his character. I don't understand that, but whatever. She tells him that he's making a big deal out of nothing and he needs to get out of here. Then she tells him he needs to sit down. And Megan's like, both of y'all need to calm down, like on both ends. And Ashley wants to choose violence. Ashley's like, no, she's not trying to hear it because she didn't like how he addressed the situation. She didn't like that he slammed the door and did all that extra stuff. So he comes back to the table. You guys, this is not how I was raised. And I'm waiting for the tears. And there are none. I struggle with Scott. I think that Scott is going to turn a leaf. Yes. But until he does, I can't deal with it because a lot of it feels like antics to me. And I don't feel like he's being honest about some things either. We'll get to it. So Ashley thinks that he's only going through all these different emotions because he's hangry. That he is hangry, he hasn't eaten, and that's what this is about. So Tina and him end up apologizing to each other, and he says, he wouldn't normally act like this, and Ashley is probably right. So maybe he is really struggling with the liquid diet. So it's the next day. Vanessa thinks that, she says it's a 4-mile hike, but I don't know if she was joking or if it was really 4 miles. Either way, it's a hike that's over a mile. That would be a good idea for them to do. They get there, Scott leads the way, and Tina has something to say about him leading the way. They tell Vanessa from the beginning that they don't want to do too much. So Vanessa isn't going extra hard on them. She even brought Scott's chair. As they're walking, Scott needs a break. He doesn't have energy because he's on the liquid diet. He then asks if he can speak to Tina, and he apologizes to her again. She says that she felt like he was being controlling and that he was trying to compete with her. I don't know what we didn't see, but I didn't really see him trying to compete with her. Very opinionated, yes. Controlling in some ways, yes, but you can't compete with, there was no competition here. So she's like, I gotta look at things differently. I want us to be like big brother, big sister, little brother type of situation. And I need to just take it easy and let's just support each other. So they agree to do that. We then see the whole group arrive at a waterfall where they feel like the hike was worth it and they enjoy the peace of it all. Then later on, despite being afraid of heights, Vanessa has booked a snow tubing outing. The ladies are nervous. Tina is worried about people seeing her get stuck in the tube. And Megan's like, look, they're going to look either way. Let's go. So they get up there. There's a conveyor belt that helps them go up the hill. They stand on it and it goes on an incline. And Megan, as she can't even keep her balance, is over there saying that all she keeps thinking about is the fact that she's behind Scott and what's going to happen if he falls backwards. Jump off the belt. I mean, like, what? That's what you're going to do. So, Vanessa is the first one to go down and she's yelling the whole way down. We see Scott go and he's spinning and spinning, spinning. Tina goes, and when she tries to get up, the very thing that she was nervous about happens. She gets stuck in the tube. And then Ashley goes and she's flying. Interesting that Tina got stuck in the tube, but Scott was able to get out. Megan screams the whole way down as well. Megan says, as scary as it was, I'm living life and I'm doing things that I wouldn't normally do. Vanessa says that for her, this felt like a redemption because we get a flashback of the time that they went to the water park and she couldn't go down the slide because I think you couldn't be over 300 and something pounds. And she exceeded that. So Scott says he was happy to just be able to do it multiple times and not need help getting out the tube. Next, they head to relaxation at Vanessa called it a spa, but it was just an indoor jacuzzi that the water looked dirty to me, and I personally wouldn't have want to got in, and it was small. So everyone comes out in their bathing suits, and they're waiting for Vanessa to come out, and Vanessa comes out wearing the bikini that she wore years ago that didn't really fit her, and they tell her she looks great. Here's the thing. I'm not going to say Vanessa doesn't look good. She looks good, but I still think, despite her size, that she still needs to be aware that bikinis aren't meant for everybody. You can crucify me in the comments. I personally got a tankini, and I haven't been able to wear my tankini in a couple of years because the kini is looking like biscuity. I know my truth. Anyways, she did look good compared to how she looked before. She's lost a significant amount of weight, and it is crazy to see the difference in how it fit her. It even is a little saggy in the butt. So, she's done her job. So Megan hugs her and cries and tells her how proud she is of her and how good she looks. Do y'all think Megan meant it? Put it down below. Because whenever Megan gets mad, another side comes out. So I sometimes wonder if Megan really feels this way. So she says, don't ever forget that, when I say something or I go off on you, that, you did this. So Megan's like, she's getting a chance to experience life, and it just makes her so happy. And Vanessa says, if I turn into a monster, you started this. So Scott is the first one to get into the tub, and Tina makes mention again that how Scott is going to rise to the occasion, and he's always trying to, be the boss or be the leader or whatever. It's like, Tina, what do you want him to do? He's a man who's trying to be a man. I don't know. I don't really feel like it's that big of a deal. So he gets into the tub and ends up busting his tail. And the other ladies get in. The tub, personally, to me, isn't something I want to get into. I'd be like Ashley, who had on the bathing suit and was just watching everybody while they were in the tub. Especially because I didn't see no showers. I just saw them changing outfits. So after that, they go to a restaurant to eat. And Scott did not look into the restaurant. Vanessa, as she sits down before they eat anything, says, let's all make healthy choices. You stick to your diet, and you stick to your diet, and you stick to your diet. But we're going to eat what we want. Talking about her and Ashley. Vanessa is my favorite. But you telling me to stick to my diet while you're piling all types of food on your plate doesn't seem fair to me. They realize that there are no menus at this establishment because this is a family-style restaurant. Scott tells us that he got recommended this restaurant from the person that they did the rental from, and that when he made the reservation, he didn't bother looking at the menu that much. He didn't realize that this is an all-you-can-eat place. I don't buy it. Y'all tell me if you buy it. I don't buy it. Here's the thing. I don't eat certain things, right? I don't eat shrimp. I don't eat crab. I don't do oysters or lobster or pork. And I don't like fishy fish. If it's too fishy, I don't want it. It's going to make me it gags me. Whenever I go to a restaurant with friends, I always look at the menu beforehand so I know, is this something that I'm willing to attend or not? Because sometimes they may want to pick a seafood place and they may not have anything on the menu that I want to partake in. So maybe I need to eat before I go there and I just have drinks or whatever. Either way, I'm going to look at it beforehand because I know my dietary situation. With that being said, you're on a diet, a liquid diet. They're on diets. you're telling me you didn't think to look into the restaurant and see what the options are? I don't buy it. I think Scott had every intention of eating what he wanted to eat. And had he not been approved for the surgery, he would have ate what he wanted to eat. I think him getting approved for the surgery kind of switched things. And he just decided that he was just going to go with the flow. He may not have known everything, but he knew enough, in my opinion. Y'all tell me yours. Well, yeah, he knew something. You should have looked at something, because I was going to say he's a man and maybe he doesn't pay attention to all the details, but I feel like you had to look at something. So they bring out a bunch of food to the table. They got famous barbecue ribs and chicken and biscuits and all these other things. And Tina's like, okay, all thing I can eat here is the lima beans and the casserole, because that's fried and that's fried and that's fried and that's fried. And Megan's like, well, maybe you could do the chicken and just pull off the thing. And Tina's like, no, it's fried. Tina says, Ashley and Vanessa are piling crap on their plates like they are not bariatric patients. But I'm not going to tell them what to eat, even though they love to tell me what to eat. I said it's very hypocritical of them. If I were Tina, I would feel away as well. Ashley tells us she's on vacation and she doesn't normally eat like this, but she's going to enjoy herself. If that's the case, that's the case. But because you're on vacation with these others, I do think they should have been more considerate of the people that you sat in that meeting with who told you they were struggling in certain situations. How great would it have been to be united front? So Scott's like, pass the chicken. I'm going to have, a pick at that. He says his intentions are to peel off the skin. Vanessa takes it and says, no, you're not. I don't like Scott. As I told you, I think that Scott didn't check into this. But Scott is a grown man. If he decides to eat that chicken, let him eat that chicken. Because guess what? When you're not around him, he's going to have to make these choices. So Vanessa, stay in your own lane. He's like, she said I could eat the chicken and pull off the skin. She was like, I would never tell you to eat fried chicken. Megan's like, so what do you suggest that he eats? So she's like, the ribs, the collard greens. He's like, I can't eat the ribs. She's like, they're baked. He's like, but they have sauce on them. Vanessa then starts fussing at Megan for suggesting that he has something fried within 2 weeks of his surgery. Vanessa, you're not her mother. You're not his mother. There's a way to do it without always coming down on people. And that's where Vanessa messes up. It's her delivery. She says she's going to keep giving him alternatives and he's not going to be able to have the surgery. The alternative should have been, once y'all saw what the food options were, you should have left as a group. So Megan starts calling her drill sergeant, and saying things under her breath. And she's like, sometimes I'm not dumb, Vanessa. Sometimes you have to improvise. But she knows everything. She's the nutritionist. Okay, you're being passive aggressive. You have an issue with it. That's fine. So the both of them are handling this situation wrong. So Vanessa says, I'm not what you're saying I am, Megan. I'm someone who simply had weight loss, stayed on the diet, and I lost the weight. Vanessa has a way of making digs, and she knows it's a dig because she later says that she knows how to get under Megan's skin. So Megan's like, bitch, I just lost as much weight as you. I saw, oh Lord, here we go. And Vanessa says, Or did I say, I got, not really. It might have not been Vanessa. I think it was me. My notes aren't clear. Vanessa says, I want everybody to understand that skin on fried chicken, on or off, isn't good. It's fried. You shouldn't be eating anything fried. Megan ends up getting up and walking out. Vanessa's like, don't get mad at me because you don't know what you're talking about. Megan says it again. I lost just as much weight as you did. And Vanessa is looking at her like, no, you didn't, which we know Megan didn't. Vanessa admits that she pissed her off, so she wanted to piss Megan off as well. As I said before, I'm happy for Vanessa, but I don't think you can sit there and criticize people for the choices that they're making in their food when you're not doing what you should be doing either. Yes, you've lost the weight. Yes, you've done a great job. Yes, you want to enjoy vacation, but you do come across as hypocritical, in my opinion, when you do it the way she did it. You all tell me what you think, though. Do y'all think Vanessa was right to say the things that she was saying? Put it down below. Oh, far as Megan is jealous of Vanessa. She is. Because the first thing that you go to is the things that you said, and you calling her a B and all that other stuff. There's still some resentment there. But you guys, tell me what you think. Until next time.